Hello and welcome to my channel. So this is going to be my first video doing a voiceover, and it is of me making my lemon poppy soap for this year's Valentine's Day. So thank you for coming to my channel and watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Now on to the video. Alrighty, so I am going to go ahead and start by weighing out my coconut butter. Took a while to clear out that measuring, or that scale I mean, but let's go ahead and get started. Is it me, or should this be a little easier to be able to like scoop out? So we're done with that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and weigh out my lye. I'm done with this one. And now here's the second part of it. Gotta scoop some out. Have to make sure that we get it just right. Okay, so we're done there. I'm gonna go ahead and now measure out my distilled water. Also need to make sure that's perfectly measured out. And I want to avoid splatters, that's why I use the spatula when I'm pouring. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I pour my lye into my distilled water before I measure out the rest of my oils. Let's make sure that it is the lye going into the water, not the water into the lye. You don't wanna make a chemical combustion. And it does get fairly hot, so please make sure you're careful. That's another reason why I'm doing it now, so it can cool off by the time I actually am going to start mixing my oils with my lye water. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and scoop out my coconut oil and get it weighed out as well. I love coconut oil. Okay, so now that we have that weighed out, I'm going to switch over to the olive oil. I am pouring a little bit into a 4-ounce mason jar because I plan on coloring this soap and I want my mica to disperse in this before I add it into the full melted oils. Okay, so I did heat up my coconut oil and made sure it melted. Some of it's still a little solid, but it'll melt once I add the lye water. Now I'm pouring the rest of my olive oil, finishing one bucket. Getting every last drop out of there. Okay, and now I am just adding the rest of my olive oil. Okay, so I went to get my now melted shea butter. I did do a double boiler method to get it to melt. And we're gonna go ahead and combine the melted oils. Again, that piece right here that was not fully melted just melts away with the heat of the actual oils. Okay, so I also use sunflower oil in my soap, so I am currently measuring that, weighing it out. So I am done getting my oils together. I am going to go ahead and move this out of the way so I can get my mica into the little bit of olive oil that I had on the side. That way the mica gets dispersed in there, and then I can pour it into my oils. I like pouring my mica into my oils before I add my lye. I just make sure I can blend as much as I need to get it all evenly distributed. Once you add the lye in there, if you start blending, you know, there's only so much you can blend before you get to your saponification and the soap actually starts to get thicker on you, and I'm trying to avoid that, so I add it directly into the oils. And we're shake, 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 shaking. Okay, so we have my blender. I'm gonna put it into the oils. You see me tapping at the bottom, that is called burping it. That way the air that went in gets out of the oils. I am blending all my oils together. You don't have to do this, but I enjoy watching this happen and just seeing the color change on there. Okay, so next we are going to add the oil and mica mixture into our melted oils before we get started on adding in the lye water solution. And yes, I'm getting every last drop of yellow in here, so that includes the lid. And I really enjoy the yellow that it turned out to be. Okay, so normally I would add my lye and start going ahead to blending it all together, but I realized that my bucket was too small, so I have to divide everything. I'm dividing my lye water, and then I will also be dividing my oils so I can mix them all thoroughly. It's a little bit of a pain because I want to make sure that everything is divided out equally, so I'm grateful that I have my scale here. But yeah, this has never happened to me before. It's a first time for everything. Okay, so I have my oils separated. I'm going to go ahead and pour the lye solution into each one. Okay, so I'm now finally gonna be able to blend this all together. You see what a pretty yellow that is. This reminds me of the lemon chocolate chip cookies from Firehouse Subs. If you don't have a Firehouse Sub near you, I'm sorry. If you do, please go ahead and try those cookies. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and weigh out my essential oil. I do have a smaller scale because the other one doesn't measure accurately such a small amount. And I thought using this pipette would make my life much easier, but it did not. So I believe I started pouring it straight out of the bottle. Yep, that's what I sure did. I did stop blending before I reached trace because I like to measure out my oils before that so I can be able to add it into the oil and lye solution before I reach trace. And since I divided everything, I went ahead and used the syringe to make sure I got the essential oil mixture distributed between the 2 buckets equally. It did take quite some time of going back and forth, but I'm fine with that. As long as everything gets done properly, that's what matters to me. Okay, so now that I went ahead and finished pouring in the essential oil, I did notice that it did harden up a little bit for me, but that's okay. Just makes it a little harder to pour once I'm done blending. Okay, so we reached a pretty heavy trace, and again, that's fine. Now I'm setting up the molds. I am doing 2 molds, and I will also be doing some extra molds towards the end because I did wait out to get some extras, and I can tell you I am pleased so far. Adding the poppy seeds, thought I forgot, but I didn't. And I just take the whisk to stir it all together. It's easier than using the blender at this moment. Okay, so I am now pouring, and since it got thick, it's a little harder, but I don't mind it because I will figure it out. Okay, so sometimes we get a little bit of a spillage situation going on, and that's okay. We just clean it up. Right now, we're just tapping it. We do this so we can get any bubbles that are in there, the air to come out, and also just so I can get it to line up evenly. There was excess soap on here, and I want it to be nice and flat. So I'm just taking my spatula and going back and forth. Whatever's extra on there, I will put into this other mold because it will be getting filled up too. Okay, so I decided to pour some into this pitcher before I fill my second mold because I want to make sure I have enough to do the other molds that I wanted to do. I am going to be doing flowers, different designs. I have 2 molds with 3 different flowers on each one. And I am also going to be doing a teddy bear mold just for kicks. And this is the bad part about it getting to such a thick trace. It's going to be a little difficult to get it into the mold evenly and easily, but it's okay because I am going to make this work. I am a messy soaper, and little by little I am getting better at it, but I don't mind because they come out great and everybody loves them and I love them. And my favorite part is actually making them all. My worst part is waiting for them to dry up, so cure, so I can actually use them. But I don't mind visiting and sneaking a peek every once in a while to see how far along they come while they're curing. Okay, so you saw I patted down a little bit. That's to see if I can get them to even out. And it's not really working too great because of the tray that I have it in. I didn't realize that it bows, so these center two flowers are a little lower. But again, not a problem. I will make this work. So I am just spreading some of the extra soap from one flower over into the next. Yep, pretty much gonna be making sure that I fix all of these. And yes, it was very time consuming, but like I said, I don't mind. Okay, so I went back and started filling up the rest of my second mold. I am also putting some extra mixture to the side for the rest of my molds. Okay, so they are both even. I am going to put them at my workstation. Yes, this is not my workstation. This is my kitchen. Okay, so I am going to get the other flower mold here into the frame and start pouring the rest of this mixture. telling you, just messy, messy soap maker. Every little bit of soap matters. Okay, so I decided to be brave and I moved the other flour mold over to this sheet pan, I think it is, the cookie sheet. So that way I can have a stable surface for the both of them for when I do go and place them to dry and cure. Okay, so my soap did get thicker on me, so I went ahead and started mixing it. And I am hoping that the pour works out for me. Okay, so I didn't fill each cavity because I didn't want it to overflow since it's so thick. So I'm going to stop here and I am going to pat them down so the soap can get flat. And what actually happened, that they basically ended up being just about right. Right, so they look perfect. They look like if I can just let them be, but no, I have to make things a little harder. I'm not satisfied with that little space that I see could have a little more soap. So yes, I grabbed my spatula and I started pouring soap into each cavity. Yay, not the best move. It's all right. I'm learning. I will make this work. So how am I gonna make this work? Yeah, my brain told me to go ahead and get my soap cutter and scrape from one end to the other. I think I'm a genius. I would have been a genius if I just let it be. But no, hard work, it pays off. Or does it? Yeah, it does. So yeah, I go back and forth on the molds, try to get them as evenly as possible because I have OCD and yeah, this has to be right. Or as close to it as I can get it. Tap, tap, tap. And I am spraying them with alcohol. The alcohol spray on top actually would get rid of any little bubbles and also prevents soda ash. I don't know why, but for some reason I just recently moved from Florida to Kentucky and my soaps have been getting soda ash. I mean, it doesn't hurt you, it's just not very pleasant to look at. So I am trying to spray as much as I can of the alcohol to prevent the soda ash. And I am crossing my fingers that it, helps it. And here we go, finally, my last mold. It's been a long process, and these are my teddy bears. And yes, these are the hardest ones to do because at this point the soap has reached obviously trace, but it's so thick that it's hard to pour. It's like I could have just grabbed a Ziploc bag, cut the little end and squeezed it in there and piped it in there, and I probably would have done a better job. But I think I did an okay job for doing it at this point so thickly. I just had to go one by one, little by little, topping it out to make sure the soap got to every little area. I was gonna say corner, but no, it doesn't have corners, so it bears paws basically and its ears. Okay, so again, I am going to spray my little bears with the alcohol, crossing my fingers that I don't get soda ash. If anybody knows how I can avoid it without the alcohol, or if I need to put more, or what I can do to avoid soda ash, please let me know down in the comments. I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, so I'm grabbing my molds, and again, I wanted to make things a little more complicated, so instead of leaving them flat, I said, hey, why not just go ahead and add a little texture to the top? And that's exactly what you see me doing. I do go back and forth to get it right, or just right, and to my liking for a little bit, but I get there. And then I'm going to also add some poppy seeds on top because it's gonna look super cute, super cute. I wish I can eat this. Not that it's the soap that I want to eat, but I love lemon everything. Lemon loaves, lemon cookies. It's just one of my favorite flavors and scents. Poppy seed time. I'm gonna sprinkle down this side. Oops. And now I know to get a smaller spoon. And instead of shaking the spoon, I should have just tapped at it a little bit so I can get this on the side and not on my beautiful texture. But it's okay. I will figure it out. Actually, what I end up doing is completely redoing this side, and then I feel like kicking myself because I should have left it alone. You'll see. Okay, so at this point, I'm an expert, right? I can go ahead and texture this really quickly and do it right the first time. Yeah, no. I definitely should have took my time, but it's okay because it just adds more texture. This one, I do it a little different than the first mold, and I actually like it better. I really do. So I'm texturing one side, and then I decide to go ahead and do the same on the opposite side. So you'll see. It works out pretty good. At least I love it. Okay, so I textured both sides of this mold. I wanted to do something a little different from the first mold, and I am happy with how it turned out. Both sides get textured up into like a higher little peak, which my husband calls a mohawk. So I have a mohawk running down my soap, which is pretty cool. And I don't know, it just makes the soap look prettier. So I am going to grab the poppy seeds, and I was thinking to just put it on that mohawk area, but it didn't really work out that way. So I stuck to one side. Some of it sprinkled over on the other side, but that's okay because it was just a little bit and it's not really that noticeable since there's poppy seeds throughout the entire soap. But as I'm doing this, I'm falling in love with how it looks. Simple, but you know, it brings the attention to that area that I was like, well, I wasn't really a fan of the first way I did the first mold. Let me go ahead and make it look like this one. I shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't have. I should have left it as is, but it didn't ruin the soap. It just, instead of the poppy seeds being on top and you see the black in the poppy seeds, the poppy seeds ended up going into the soap and it looks lighter than the dark. You'll see. So right now it's cute, I'm not gonna lie, but I thought that maybe it would, like, some of the poppy seeds would come off, or a lot of them, since they're not really in the soap. So I went ahead and I started texturing it, thinking I can just go ahead and add more poppy seeds and it'll be about the same as that first, the second mold, I mean. And that didn't work out. It actually forced the poppy seeds to the top of the peaks. And then I had to go ahead and figure out how to clean this up, make it look a little better. So I took a chopstick and just blended it on one side to get all the poppy seeds down and into the soap. Don't worry, I end up saving it. Like I said, it just should have been left alone. See, they are the same but different, and I am done. I've sprayed them down. The second mold, which is the one in the pink, has the poppy seeds on top. The first mold, the purple one, has them inside. That's the difference. I am happy with them. I cannot wait until they are done curing and that I can put them up on my Etsy page, which you will find the link below in the description. I want to thank you for sticking it out and watching the video with me. I really do appreciate it. Please, again, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you on the next one.